What's up, guys? This is Paweł from Coding Jam Session. Welcome to another live coding episode. Today I'm going to try and create a basic calculator app in React. We're going to try to do it from scratch. I'm going to include some styling as well, just not going to focus on explaining a lot about the CSS and things. Right, so let's get started. We're going to start with the creating our React app. Let's go. This might take a second. Just so you know, so in case you don't want to go through, all the JSX and the CSS styling things, just skip through part 1 and just go straight to part 2. I'm sure that I'm gonna divide it clearly so we can just dive in straight to the logic and the React coding, Right, let's just wait a second. Come on. Right, okay, so we've got our basic React application done. Let's just remove all the unnecessary files that we don't want, do some clearing. I didn't prepare it in advance just because I wanna do this coding series from scratch today, so in case there's people that are not very fluent, beginner level, they can just watch and see every single step of a development. Right, let's just clear everything. We don't need anything in here. This we don't want any strict mode. Don't want this. Okay. In our HD, okay, let's delete all those files that we don't actually need. Quick clearing series. Right, okay. We don't need any of that. This is gonna be called calculator. That's the title of our application. Right, let's just try to run and see if we get any errors or if we cleared everything. Okay, everything's cleared. Let me just quickly get a window displayed for you so you can actually see what we're doing. Just one moment. Window capture. Let's go like this. There we go. Where I'm gonna put it? Let's just put it like that on the left. We're gonna for the moment it's fine. For the moment this is fine. Right, so as you can see, right now it's just a basic blank white page and we're gonna code everything from scratch. So let's dive in. Let's just let's just quickly think of what. Okay, let's create a view directory and let's see what components we're gonna need. So we're gonna need one for the digit because calculator has like 9 digits or 10 digits, so we're not gonna code each of them separately. We're just gonna make a component for those, and we're gonna do same for the operations, for the map operations. So every single map operation is gonna be a separate component as well. So let's just right away create the files for that. Index.js and a index.css. And let's make a main component for a calculator as well. Okay, there we go. Let's just close all those files for the moment. You don't need them, they're empty. Okay, so let's just create the first component. Bam, done. I'm using the web term and I've got some, macros done so I can quickly create components, but I'm sure that if you guys are using Visual Studio Code, you can just do the same thing. So within, a click of a key on a keyboard, you can just quickly create a functional component, and it's quite handy. So I recommend doing that. Right, okay, so our app component, which is the main component, is simply gonna contain the calculator, and that's just so you know that it manages the imports for me right away as well, so it's very convenient. Right, so we've got our application that's gonna contain a calculator, and this calculator is gonna have I'm not gonna split the logic in too many files or anything because it's just a basic application, just basic use. So I'm just gonna stick to the main file here and just those two components so we don't repeat too much code. Right, let's go with some basis. So with our styling, we need to do some styling for our application. Let's go for a background color first, and let's use this one. Okay, we're just simply gonna let's create some classes. Actually, let's go for the center class. That's how I'm gonna call it, which is basically gonna be display flags, justify content center, and align items center. Flag center, so our application is gonna have this class as well. The reason I do that is probably we're gonna use this flag center quite often, so that's why I don't repeat too much of a code. Right, our height is going to be 100 ph and 100% width. Okay. Let's just do some resets as well in this index.css. Okay, and let's just go with box sizing, border box. So that means that padding and border and everything is gonna be calculated. In the size of our container. It's just gonna make the things easier. So we've got our background. Let's just start with defining our calculator. Okay, calculator. So yeah, okay, let's close all those for the moment, and let's get our calculator.css file. We're gonna split it. There we go. Okay. The background color is gonna be relevant here because we're still gonna assign each of those for components, but just so we see the skeleton that we're building, we can just skip it. Let's go for 760 pixels because that's divisible by 4, which I very likely want. And this is gonna be, so we're gonna have 3 sections. We're gonna have a display here, we're gonna have display in the top, a row with operations, so plus, minus, multiplication, and division. And we're gonna have a first section with numbers and the equal or clear button. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna display this in columns. So flex direction column. Okay, and we don't, and actually let's make those round corners, border radius 20 pixels, 20 pixels, 0, 0. Okay, right, so in this case we've got our calculator, and let's do some dips. I'm not gonna do too many components, just so we don't get too confused with the files and everything. It's just an easy calculation, so I'm just gonna stick to diffs, and that's it. Just so it's clear and easy, So first div is gonna be a display. So it's gonna have a class of a display. Our second div is gonna be operations. So that's the div that's gonna contain the math operators, and the other div is what we're gonna call it. I don't know. We're gonna call it buttons because it's gonna contain digits but other buttons as well. So let's just call it buttons. Right, okay. So let's just define those classes in our .css file. Display, operations, and buttons. Okay, let's just give them different background colors for the moment. So we're actually gonna, what did I write? Background color, what the hell, sorry. Let's just give different one to each of them so you can actually see the skeleton of the app that we're building. So let's just slightly change those darker white and this one even darker white. There we go. And what we're gonna do is give them flex property. So right, operation, how many rows we're gonna have? We're gonna have rows with operations, then 1, 2, 3, 4 rows in here. So definitely buttons is gonna have flex 4, operations is gonna have flex 1, and this is probably gonna be slightly higher, so let's give it like flex 1.6. Well, 1.6 seems too big. So you're gonna see this is our display, this is gonna be the row with digits and the rest of the calculator, but this is slightly too big. Let's give it, I don't know, 1.4, or is it too big? 1.3. Okay, there we go, that's fine. So we've got a basic skeleton of our application. We've got a basic skeleton, so what's next? So display is gonna stay just the way it is, and it's simply gonna display some numbers that we're gonna put in a calculator. Okay, so let's just do a color here that's gonna be black, font weight that's gonna be, I don't know, 900, whatever, and font size is gonna be like, I don't know, 36 pixels. Okay, maybe even more than that, 42 pixels. Okay, and display, we want the display to show the numbers on the right, so let's just quickly code that. So a display is gonna have a what? It's gonna be a display flex, and align items is gonna be center, but justify content we're gonna go for flex and that way we're displaying on the right. We need some paddings as well, so padding is gonna be something like that. Box sizing border box. Oh no, that's not the one. Okay, we need to change the line height as well because it's screwing up the size of our containers. So let's just get rid of it. Line height is gonna be the same. Okay. Alright. Here, let's go with this so we can actually see some. Oh no, because you're not gonna see this. Yeah, I don't need to see that. That's fine. Right. Just. Okay, I'm just gonna turn it down just so you. Okay. Never mind. Never mind. This is slightly too big. Let's make it smaller so you can see more of a code. Now I think all the CSS is visible. Alright. Okay, the CSS is visible, so we can proceed. Right, so what else we need? So now we need some buttons, yeah? So let's actually, how many operations we're gonna get? And how many digits? We're gonna get 9 digits, 10 digits, so we're not gonna type in each of them separately, we're simply gonna create an array, so digits is gonna equal to an array of 4 numbers, 7, 8, 9, and 0. And we can do the same with operations, but that's gonna be array of objects because we're gonna need 2 things with that. So let's have a look. Let's make it bigger just so you can see. Operations is an array of objects. Each object is gonna contain an, let's call it icon. That's just gonna be the display symbol. For example, a minus, a plus for the addition. And let's give it a operation name, which is gonna be a sum. And we're gonna have 4 operations, so let's copy those. Come on. Then we're gonna have a subtraction. And we're gonna have a multiplication. And we're gonna get a division. There we go. Right, so why did I use the object? Just so that this is the icon that we're gonna display on the bottom, but we're gonna need this just so it describes what operation we're gonna do for our switch method. We could use the icon as well anyway, but let's just keep it like that for now. That's fine. Right, okay, so let's display this. So we're gonna map for operations. And for each of them, we're gonna return our component that we call operation. Alright, at the moment this component, let's pass an icon value to this component right away actually, so it's gonna be up.icon. And let's pass a name as well. Let's just do it right away so we don't go back. Up.name. Okay. And let's have a look at our operation component. Okay, just so you can see it. There we go. And let's extract those values. So we're extracting the icon and a name. And icon is the field that we're going to display. There we go. So we've got our icons. Now we could probably do some styling for our operations. Let's do some styling indeed. Okay, so our operations is gonna be a display flex. Oh, we're missing a semicolon. Pardonnez-moi. We're gonna go with a display flex. And let's give some flex property to every single of those operations as well. So we call this operation, single one, and let's give it a flex of 1. There we go. And let's actually give it how did I call that class? Flex center, no? Yeah, there we go. Lovely. So we're probably gonna want some borders as well. Give me just one moment. Let me quickly think. Yeah, okay. Each of those buttons needs a border. Let's go. No hesitation. Let's go. What border we're gonna use? So we're gonna do a border of solid 1 pixel, and let's make it black, but just like that. There we go. So now we can clearly see those are buttons. And what else we want? A font weight of 900. Oh, that's already done. Okay, let's just leave it like that. Anyways, we want a background. Let's just stick to white color. And let's change the background for our display. Our display is gonna be dark. I think the display and calculators are dark. So let's change this now to black. Maybe not black entirely, but dark, darker. Okay, and let's change a color to white. There we go. Okay, we could actually maybe use a different font, because this is just, I can't look at this, to be honest. Let's just go back to the basics of what we've had in our React app. Sorry. Let's just go like that. At least we've got some font styling. There we go. Okay. So now what we can do is actually maybe change the font weight of those operations. It's slightly too bold. Yeah, okay. Let's leave it like that. That's fine. And we could actually add a hover class to our app.css file, so we can reuse it as well. Let's keep it simple. Let's get cursor pointer and a opacity to 0.7. And our operation is gonna get the half class. So whenever we hover, no, have that hover, pardonnez-moi. Okay. And now whenever we hover on the button, we've got some nice hovering effect. Okay. So we've got our display, we've got our operations, math operators, and now we could probably use some digits as well. Yeah, so let's actually map those as well. So digits, we're gonna use a map function to go through every single digit and return a digit component that's gonna have a value equal to our digit. Digit. Okay, there we go. There we go, and let's do some styling with those digits as well. So, okay, let's close all those files for the moment. This one, let's leave it on. And we need our digit component. Digit component and digit.css file. So we can actually see. So our digit component is going to get the value and display this value here. I hope you're familiar with props. All we do is just we pass the digit as a prop, the value, and we just extracted it in the our digit component. So we can so what we're gonna do is do some styling here. Yeah, let's go. So our digit is gonna be display. Oh wait, no, not this one. Let's get this file as well. Sorry, index.calculator.css, and so our buttons is gonna. Let me just quickly think. 0, 1, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What did I do? Well, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0. And this is gonna be the equals. Okay. And clear is gonna be in the bottom. Yeah. Okay, so we should actually do 2 more divs. So this div. Let's go with let's call this div. Let's call this div digits, and that's where we're gonna put our map function, and we're gonna need a second div that we're gonna call I don't know, equals. That's just the div that's gonna have one equal sign, and that's it. And in here at the end we're gonna add another div that we're gonna name clear. There we go, and it's gonna contain a word clear like that. Now we need to style it. So our buttons is gonna be display flex. Let's do it like that. So we got a little bit more visibility. So our buttons is gonna be display flex, and we're gonna have 2 more classes, the digits and equals. Digits is gonna have flex equal to what? 1, 2, 3, so 3, and the equals is gonna have flex equal to 1. There we go. Now digits is gonna be display flex as well, and we're gonna have flex wrap. Okay, and let's go in here. Let's just try to style our digit. So our digit is gonna be okay. Let's add another class to our digit component. That's gonna be a flex center class, that's for sure. And our digit okay, let's give it a weight. So we've had 760 divided by 4, 190 pixels width. There we go. And now we've got everything nice and sorted. And let's go with our how did we name that one? Equals, and this one is clear as well. So clear. So clear, we're gonna give it a weight of double that, no? 380 pixels. Can I do that? And let's give it a display flex as well. The flex center class as well. Oh, there we go. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. And equals needs to have the same thing. So flex center class. So you've got the equal sign in the center. Nice and pretty. And now let's give this some colors. I've had the colors chosen already. If you give me a second, I'll try to look them up. Just some basic colors, so we don't need to think. So clear color is gonna be this one. Barum. Okay. Sorry. Couldn't help myself. Equals color. I don't know. Let's give it a slight blue. I don't know if it's nice or not. It doesn't really matter. There we go. And let's give. Actually, I had those white, but I kind of like them darker like that. Those buttons. Yeah, let's leave them like this. Let's just go with the border. We're gonna use the same border we did with our operations. So let's have a look. Our operations. No. Oh, the operation component CSS. Sorry about that. So we want this. And we're just gonna copy the border. Use the same one with our buttons. So where are we? Digit. No, digit. That's where we want the border to happen. There we go. Nice and sorted. And with our digit component, let's give this a half class as well. So now when I have, yeah, but this one is not actually presenting very nice. So let's go and overwrite it as well. So digit.cover. Let's set it, I don't know, some kind of background color maybe changed when we hover over it, and there we go. Now it's maybe not entirely white, but a little lighter like that maybe. There we go. Okay, so we've got our half class going. Clear button needs a hover class as well. So clear button is gonna need our hover class as well, and the equals button is gonna need our hover class as well. There we go. So we've got the calculator UI built. Nice and easy. We've got all the numbers, all the operations, equal, clear button, basic calculator, nice and ready. So let's get rid of all those CSS files. We're not gonna need them anymore. And let's just dive into our JavaScript, to our logic, some React coding. Okay, so let's just think what we're gonna need. Let's just quickly think how we're gonna handle the logic. So we've got our display, so we need a state variable for whatever number we're displaying. So let's start with some definitions. So our display and set display is gonna be a state, and we're gonna initiate it with an empty string. So in this case, we can dive in right to our display, and instead of a hard-coded display, we're gonna type in our state variable. At the moment it's empty. If I edit anything here, you can see that it's in our display. So this is the state variable that's gonna handle the display of our calculator. Okay. What else we need? We're gonna need a result of a equation. So result equals to state, and at the beginning it's just gonna be nothing. We're gonna need, so whenever we're gonna press a button, we're gonna press an operation, so we will want to know if we're summing, if we want to multiplicate or what. So we need a state variable for our operation as well. Set operation. Okay. And we're gonna need a... What else we're gonna need? Okay, let's leave it like this for the moment. Let's declare some event handlers. So we're gonna need a function that's gonna handle the click of a number. Whenever we click on a digit, we're gonna need to handle this action. So digit, let's call it digit handler. We're gonna need another event handler for our for our operations as well. Operation handler. Let's declare those, because this is what we're gonna need to pass to our components. We've got two of those that we've done. So the let's just call it on click. We're gonna pass this is the operation, so the operation handler, and in our digit we're gonna do the same. Let's just call it on click and pass it the digit handler. Just remember you're passing the reference to a function, not the invoked function, just to avoid errors. So we're passing the event handlers to our components. Let's dive in and handle those right away. So we named it onClick. So whenever we perform the onClick event, we're gonna want to actually, let's do it like this, because we're gonna want to pass it a argument, a value, because we need to know which digit it's gonna be. So that's why I'm invoking it like that, so we can pass it a value. Okay, and let's do the same for the operation component. So on click, and on click we're going to use an onClick event handler and pass it a value as well, which is going to be our name of a operation. So multiplication, subtraction, and you're gonna pass the name. Right. So we've got our two components and those event handlers sorted. Now let's implement some methods. So what we're gonna do when we've got display, we want to be able to clear the display. So let's implement this method as well right away. So clear display is going to be quite simple. Let's say set display back to empty string, and we will want to do something with a display whenever we press the next number. So it's going to be 2, 23, 235, and so on. So we want to refresh our display whenever we click the digit. So let's call it refresh display, and we will pass it a string. What the hell am I doing? We'll pass it a string, and right, let's do a check. So we want to make sure that the string we're passing is actually a number, because what I said doesn't make sense, but what I mean that is, if you're gonna do a console log is not a number of this is gonna give you true, just like this will give you true, this will give you true. So we're passing a string, but we just want to make sure that the string that we're passing is gonna represent a digit or a number. Okay, so that's why we're doing this check, and whenever we're sure about that, we're just gonna refresh our display by concatenating those two values, display plus our string. That's simple. What's that? Oh. Oh, come on. Yeah, okay, there we go. So we've got a function that's gonna clear our display. We've got a function that's gonna refresh it, so add more numbers to it. Let's just see if this actually works. So let's pass this to our digit handler function, refresh display, and what we let's just pass it a value and value, because let's just put this on the side so you can actually see. So our event handler here is passing a value to the digit handler. Yeah, this on click is this digit handler is handling the click event here, and we're passing the value of a field, which is our digit. So let's just quickly have a look how it works. There we go. If I press 2, we can see 2 displayed, so that's fine. You know that this function seems to work. If I press 3, 6, 5, there we go. Everything's displaying properly. So now let's quickly implement our clear button. Actually, we might do some more than clearing the display when we press the clear button. So let's just make another function. And let's just call it, I don't know, let's just make it as an event handler for the clear button. And in here we're definitely gonna clear the display. Potentially we're gonna do some more actions, I don't know yet. So let's just pass the event handler to our clear button. So whenever we click the button, we're gonna handle clear. Okay, so now when I clear, oh, there we go, the display is cleared. So you've got the basic functionality. You can display some number and then clear the display. So the basic functionality is actually working. Sorry, I don't know if you've seen this one. That's it. Let me just move this calculator a little bit down, like that, so you can see more. Oh, there we go. I think now you can see a little bit more of the code. Right, okay. So you've got that. So we can log the displays in here. Now we need to handle the math operations that we're gonna perform. Yeah. So we're gonna need a function that's gonna handle those operations. So refresh display. Let's actually clear this up a bit so it's organized. So let's put this one in here. Digit handler, handle clear, operation handler. Okay. So what do we want to do with our operation handler? We're passing that into an operation as an argument. Let's just put this one on the side so you can see that. So okay. So whenever we click, we're passing the name of an operation. So how do we want to do it? So whenever we press the operation, we don't need any action when the display is empty, and whenever whenever the numbers are appearing on the display, when I press the operation, I want to clear the display so that I'm able to type in the second number that we want to perform on our operation. Yeah? So we need to do some checks. So if the display has any length, so we can see if the string is empty or not. Then we want to set our operation that we're gonna perform to the operation that we're clicking, and we want to clear the display. So let's just refresh this and see this works. And when I press an operation, there we go, display is getting cleared as well. Now let's go with some logic how we're gonna handle the right, let's get another function that's gonna help us split the code properly. So we're gonna get first we're gonna implement this get result function. Then it's gonna be, oh come on, what the hell am I doing? Equals function. Okay, let's just implement this first. So then I think it's gonna be easier to implement the other function. We're gonna use a switch method. So let me quickly think. So we're gonna, because we've got a state variable for our operation. So in this case, we can simply implement switch and check what is in our state. And we can do some cases. In case we've got some, come on, case some, we're gonna perform something. Case subtraction. Oh, come on. Sorry about that. Subtraction. I'm gonna perform something. Case multiplication. We're gonna do something. And last case is, oh, sorry, it's a single C, not double C. And the last case is division, which we're going to handle as well. And we're gonna return false if it's none of those cases. Okay, so our result is gonna be the first number plus operation and the second number. In this case, okay, we've got our display and we've got number displayed. Whenever I press an operator, we need to save this number to a memory so we can type in another number. So we need another state variable, we call it temp, because that's gonna handle the temporary number. So we've got our temp. And what we want to do is when we log the first number, we're going to log the first number to the memory, to the temp. So then our result is simply going to be, So we're gonna set our result state, and that's gonna be the temp number. Last, we're doing the sum, so it's gonna be plus. Let's assume that this is gonna be parsed to integer already, and the second one is gonna and the second one is gonna be whatever we've got on the display. So it's we need to, that's gonna be string. We need to parse it to integer, and that way we can sum it up. Okay. And in that case, okay, let's leave this one for now. We're gonna check if it's working, and then if everything's fine, we're gonna implement, copy it for the rest of the things. So what happens when we get the result? We go to the number, we do the math, we press the equal, then we want our result. So after we get our result, we want to clear whatever the temp was. So we're gonna set the temp to no. So we want to clear the temp, that's for sure. And I think that's it. We're calculating the result, and then we're clearing the temporary number. Okay, that's fine. Now, let's go back to our operation handler. And let's quickly think. So whenever we've got something displayed, then when I press the button we're clearing, that's fine. But when we press the operation button, the math operator, when we clear the display, we want to save our number to temp as well. So we're gonna go and set the temp to our, and we need to pass it to integer as well to our display. So what's going on? Why is it showing that? I don't know. Okay, that should be fine. So we're passing. Just quickly. Brain damage. Sorry. Okay, right. So we click on the plus button. We're passing the whatever was on the display, we're turning it into integer, passing that to our temp state, and then we're clearing the display. So that is fine, and we're performing that whenever there's something on display. Now when we clear the display, and that's it. Because if there's nothing on the display, when I press those buttons, I don't want anything to happen. So that should do it, I think. Yeah, for the operation handler, I think that should do it for the moment. And what else we need? So we've got our numbers. We press the button. We press the second number. We need to handle the equal event. So whenever we press the equal button, we need to handle that. So whenever we handle the equal, what we want to do is simply get the result. So we're not gonna implement another function, we're just gonna pass it here. This is our equals div, and whenever we go on click, we're gonna pass it a get result function, and that should be it. No, let's have a look. Nothing's happening here, so we need, yeah, I think I messed up something. Okay, yeah, because even right. So we've got our result set, but we're never displaying the result. That's the problem. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna use effect hook and see. We're gonna listen to the result changes. That's what we're gonna do. And whenever we've got result calculated, then we can set the display to our result and just put it to string and and whenever the result is turning to false, we're gonna want to clear the display. So no result and just clear the display. So we're gonna handle both actions. So whenever the result state changes, one of those is gonna be performed. If the result is gonna be calculated, then we're gonna display it, and if it's gonna turn from back to empty, back to false, then we're gonna clear the display and reset everything. Okay, so now when we add those two numbers and press equal, we've got 50. There we go. I'm clearing 26 plus 4, and we've got equal to 30. Beautiful. Everything's nice and working. 74 plus 1 equals 75 plus 6. 81 plus 58. 139. Everything's working. So we implemented this one. We can simply copy those methods for the rest of the cases for subtraction, multiplication, and division. I know I'm talking a little bit in a chaotic way, because it's not easy to just think, code, and talk about what you're doing. I'm not used to it yet. Remember, I'm just starting, so have patience. But right at the very end, when we're gonna finish everything, I'm gonna explain how it works from the beginning. So don't worry about that. Right, we've copied those, and we just simply need to change the operations. So this is the multiplication and this is the division. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. And now let's have a look. Let's go and try 4 times 3, 12. Whoa, times 2, 24. Divided by 6, 4. Plus 6, 10. Minus 52, minus 42. There we go. Plus 2 minus 40 plus 5 minus 35. Everything's working. Our calculator is nice and ready. So we've got all the basic functionality. As you can see, we've got, our operations working. We can multiply, we can divide, and we can subtract, and we can add. And everything's working fine. The clear button is working as well. It's clearing everything. So we've got our basic calculator application nice and working. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys didn't get lost when I was trying to code and show everything. But let me just quickly go from the beginning through the logic of what we've got, so that it's understandable for everyone. Okay. So first of all, let's do it like that so you can see, and let's hide it for a moment so you can see the files. So we've got 3 components that I've done. Most of the the JSX and the logic is included in the calculator component. That's our main calculator. That's our main component for the application, and we've got 2 more components, which is digit and operation, just so we don't need to hard code for every single digit. We're just mapping through an array. Mapping through array of digits. We're doing this just over here, and we're revoking the digit component for every single digit. In the digit component, to the digit component, we're passing a value, which is our digit 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the event handler that's handling the click of a digit. So we're extracting the value in the event handler, and we can see that the value is shown on the screen. And whenever we perform the on-click event, we're we're gonna invoke the digit handler function and pass it a value of our digits. So we're gonna pass it a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, to the digit handler function. The same thing we're doing with the operations. So the operations I've done is an array of objects. We've got an icon that's the display of our operation, and we've got the name for the operation. And we're passing those values when we're mapping the operations in here. So we're passing the icon, passing the name, and passing the operation handler function. So that is invoked whenever we perform the onClick event, and we can see it in here. We've got the icon displayed, and whenever we handle the onClick event, we're just passing it a name of the operation that we want to perform. So we're passing, the subtraction, the sum, multiplication, or division to our event handler. So now let's have a look how those are handling the events. We've got, let's just go through the constants. So we've got a state variable for our display. That's the numbers that, are, okay, let's put this one back. And we've got state variable for our display, so it's the numbers that are displaying on the screen. Okay, we've got the result variable, so that's the result of the equation that we're gonna perform. So we've got 236 minus 70, and the result is 166. So we're storing the result in a state variable as well. We've got the operation variable. We've got state to keep track of an operation. So when I've got the numbers and I'm gonna press a button, then this state is monitoring that we want to multiplicate, that we want to perform a multiplication operation. Okay, and temporary variable is we need this temp state variable so that when I press some digits and I want to perform a mathematical equation on it, we want to perform an action, we want to add some numbers to it, then I need to store this number in the temp, because we want to display the second number. So when I press plus, the number disappears, so we're clearing the display, but this number is stored in the temp variable. Okay, that's why we need it. Clear display function is simple because we're simply setting the display to empty string. Refresh display function, if anybody doesn't understand what's happening here, so we're checking, it's just a simple check, because you always need to check when you're coding to avoid any issues, errors, or anything. We're checking that the value that we're passing is represents a string of a digit or a number. So it's a version of something like this or like this. Okay, so if we're passing a number within our string, then this is gonna be true. And simply, if that's true, we're refreshing our display and setting it to the current value. So when I press 2 is the current value of our display, and whenever I press another digit, we're gonna set the display to current value plus the next string that we're gonna pass, so the next button that I'm gonna click. So current value is 2, when I press 3, we've got 2 and 3 string. Remember, this is not a number yet, this is a string, but we simply concatenated that in here. So whenever I press any of those digits, this refresh display function is played, so we're refreshing our display. We should actually clear the result. That's why I've done this in the separate function. I think we should, whenever we're clearing, whenever pressing clear button, we should clear everything. So we should clear the result as well, just to do things properly. That's what we're gonna do. I didn't type it, but we need to. So clear, but the handle clear is just an event handler for the clear buttons. Whenever I press this, clear button, sorry about that. Whenever I press this clear button, this handle clear function is gonna be played. So it's gonna clear our display and clear whatever result was cached in our state variable. now the digit handler function is simply handling the, oh, we went through that, is the event handler function for whenever I press the digit, which is simply refreshing the display. So whenever I press the digit, it's simply, concatenating those. Operation handler function is the function that handles the action whenever I click the operation, any of the math operator buttons. Yeah. So let's say whenever I click the button, I need to check if the display has anything on it, because if there's nothing on the display, there's no point for me to perform any operations. Yeah, I do it only when somebody typed in a number already. So when I type in 25, then the display length is gonna return true, so we can move on and perform the logic that we want. So we're gonna set our operation state to the operation that we clicked, because we're passing this an argument. So if I press the plus, it's gonna pass it sum. If I press the division, it's gonna pass it division. So that's why we keep track of what operation we need to use when we're calculating the result. At the same time, when I press the button, we're clearing the display, and since we're clearing the display, we need to save in our memory the first number that was on the display. So that's why we're setting the temp to the integer version of the display. So we're parsing to integer whatever was in the display, and then we're simply clearing the display. That's the logic that we had to handle whenever we press the button. And then whenever we press the equals button, then whenever we press the equals button, we get a result. Yeah, so the onClick event handler for equals button is simply our get result function, and get result is how we calculate the result of an equation. And it's quite simple. First number is stored in the temporary variable, so let's just clear everything, refresh, and first number 25. When I press sum, it's gonna be stored in a temporary variable, and then I'm gonna type in a second number, which is on the display. That's why when we calculate our result, is the temp variable plus the integer plus the display that we need to parse to an integer. And that's it. And whenever we press the equals button, we get our result, and we're gonna clear the temp memory. Okay, we always need to remember about clearing stuff when we use, especially when we're using the temporary, to avoid any errors. And it's that simple. That's how we get the result, and that's how the calculator works. I know my explanation is slightly chaotic. Probably would be better if I've done the video in the ASMR version, just not talking, see how I code, because that would be more efficient for me and probably more clear for you. But I think if you're a beginner, you got the basics, you got the basic idea, more or less what we did here. I hope you do. And if something wasn't clear, I'm sure you can work it out by yourself. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for more videos coming up shortly. Subscribe for more content.